The real reason why SpaceX Starship exploded. Have you considered what could have caused Starship with such protective features to explode? When the reason is revealed, you will be shocked. But before then, let us talk about SpaceX Starship. Hit the like button and subscribe to our channel as we take you through this knowledge. Starship is a two-stage Super Heavy booster and spacecraft under development by SpaceX, intended to be fully reusable, such that the two stages will be recovered and reused after a mission. Not only is it the tallest and heaviest, but it's also the most powerful space launch vehicle to have flown into space. The rocket consists of two stages, the Super Heavy first stage or booster, and the Starship second stage or spacecraft. Both the booster and spacecraft of Starship are constructed primarily of stainless steel and are powered by Raptor engines that use liquid methane and liquid oxygen. Starship has a mass of approximately 5,000 tons when stacked and fully fueled, a diameter of 9 meters, and a height of 121 meters. In its fully reusable configuration, Starship could carry 150 tons to low Earth orbit, while the expanded configuration is projected to have a payload capacity of 250 tons. The reusable nature of both the Starship booster system and the spacecraft aims to achieve frequent space launches at low cost. But could such development be the cause of an iterative and incremental approach that involved frequent and often destructive test flights on prototype vehicles? The first flight test of the Starship system that took place on the 20th of April 2023 ended up destroying the test vehicle just 4 minutes after it was launched. The second flight test attempt of the vehicle took place on the 18th of November 2023. It took off successfully, and the separation of the stages was also successful. But the second stage maneuvered and resulted in the boost back burn. The Super Heavy booster exploded while the upper stage was lost nearly 8 minutes after launch. Before we know about what the reason was for the first and second flight test explosion, let us know why and how the Starship was brought into existence. Please like and subscribe to our channel as we unfold this mystery. SpaceX for a long time had wanted a long-term and high-capacity reusable space vehicle. This desire can be dated back to even before it launched its first rocket, the Falcon 1, in November 2005, where the CEO Elon Musk for the first time talked about concept able to launch 100 tons to low Earth orbit. In 2012, he announced the plans to develop a rocket, Mars Colonial Transporter, with more capabilities than their existing Falcon 9 and can transport humans to Mars and back. The name of the rocket was later changed in 2016 to Interplanetary Transport System, because then it was planned to travel beyond Mars. The rocket was to be made of carbon fiber and would have been over 10,000 tons when fueled and carry 300 tons to low Earth orbit, while hoping to be fully reusable. Considering some factors that would benefit the company and also give the rocket's stronger abilities, the structural material of the rocket was changed from carbon composites to stainless steel in 2019, which marks the transition from early design concepts to the current design of Starship. Designing the rocket with stainless steel would result in low cost and ease of manufacture, increased strength of stainless steel at cryogenic temperatures, and also the ability to withstand high heat. Due to steel's high temperature at a transition to plastic deformation, the need for a heat shield on Starship's leeward side is eliminated, thereby reducing cost. Much hotter windward side would be cooled by removing heat by evaporation through micropores in a double-wall stainless steel skin. But this method of cooling was abandoned in favor of reusable heat shield tiles. Starship's stainless steel has a high melting point that allows the tiles to be lighter and thinner. SpaceX referred to the entire vehicle as Starship, with the second stage being called Spaceship and the booster Super Heavy. This Starship development, according to details by Musk in September 2019, would have the features of controlling its descent, the heat shield, orbit refueling capacity, and potential destinations beside Mars. The second stage was to 3 optimized for sea level and 3 optimized for vacuum, making it 6 Raptor engines. These engines increased the weight of the rocket. Therefore, aft flaps on the second stage were reduced from 3 to 2 in order to reduce weight. The Starship was expected to have a mass of 120,000 kilograms and should initially be able to transport a payload of 100,000 kilograms, which would subsequently grow to 150,000 kilograms over time. Starship used to be identified as SN, which means serial number. Tests were varied on them, starting with the SN1, which were not in one way or the other successful. SN8 was the first fully complete Starship upper stage prototype that flew successfully But during landing attempt, low methane header tank pressure affected its engines, and it generated a hard impact with the landing pad. The similar Starship SN9 launched at 10 kilometers, taking a flight path similar to SN8 upon landing. It crashed because one engine failed to ignite properly. A month later, on March 3rd, SpaceX launched Starship SN10 on the same flight path as SN9. On landing, the vehicle crushed its landing legs and exploded less than 10 minutes later, which was potentially due to a propellant tank rupture. 27 days later, Starship SN11 flew into thick fog along the same flight path and exploded during descent, which was possibly due to excess propellant in a Raptor's methane turbo pump. Nonetheless, the company did not give up. In March 2021, it disclosed its construction plan for 2 suborbital launch pads, 2 orbital launch pads, 2 landing pads, 2 test stands, and a large propellant tank farm. Starship SN15 had better avionics, structure, and upgraded engines, so it was selected to fly while scraping its pre-prototypes. It launched on May 5th, completed the same maneuvers as older prototypes, and landed safely, thereby being the first prototype to successfully complete a high-altitude test. Around July 2021, SpaceX changed the naming scheme of the vehicles from SN to Ship for Starship crafts and from BN to Booster for Super Heavy boosters. Booster is 71 meters tall and 9 meters wide and contains 33 Raptor engines arranged in concentric rings. It has 20 of Raptor boost configuration at the outermost ring, but lack gimbal actuators in order to reduce weight and cost. All engines combined produce 74,400 kN of thrust. The booster's tanks can hold 3,400 tons of propellant, which consists of 2,650 tons of liquid oxygen and 750 tons of liquid methane. The booster is controlled by 4 electrically actuated grid fins arranged in a way to provide more authority in the pitch axis. Above the grid fins is the vented inner stage, used for hot staging. The Starship spacecraft is the same diameter as the booster, but is 50 meters tall. It's powered by 6 Raptor engines that produce 14,700 kN of thrust. The spacecraft's payload bay is planned to measure 17 meters tall and 8 meters in diameter, with an internal volume of 1,000 square meters. Across its main tanks and header tanks, Starship has a total propellant capacity of 1,200 tons. The spacecraft has 2 forward flaps and 2 aft flaps to control its orientation and help dissipate energy during atmospheric entry. It has heat shield that can withstand temperatures of 1,400 degrees Celsius, designed to protect the vehicle during atmospheric entry. Before the first orbital test, many installations, mounting, launching and testing of booster and ships, and even the launch pads were carried out to help determine the working progress of the rocket. But even when all these were done, what could have resulted in the explosion of Starship? Please take a few seconds to subscribe to our channel. The first orbital test was on the 20th of April after Ship 24 had performed 2 and full 6-engine static test fires, while Booster 7 had performed static fires. Booster 7 and Ship 24 were lifted off, but during the launch, several engines failed the flight. In the flight, the spacecraft also lost thrust vectoring control of the Raptor engines later, which led to the tumbling motion of the rocket until it got to a maximum altitude of 39 kilometers. Failure to destroy the vehicle, it tumbled for another 40 seconds and exploded. Still focusing on the target, SpaceX did some significant work on the launch mount to repair the damage sustained during the first test flight and to prevent future issues. The work also involved reinforcing the foundation of the launch tower and construction of a steel water deluge flame deflector under the launch mount. Just like Ship 24 and Booster 7, Ship 25 and Booster 9 were rolled to the launch site, where Ship 25 underwent spin prime and static fire testing ahead of flight, and Booster 9 underwent cryogenic proof testing, spin primes, and static fires of its set of engines. Due to the failure of Starship's first flight, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, required SpaceX to conduct a mishap investigation, thereby preventing Starship from being issued another launch license until the outcome of SpaceX's investigation. The launch license approval was delayed by the FAA, but was given shortly after the safety review, and the FWS concluded its environmental review on November 14th. After the approval, on November 18, 2023, Booster 9 and Ship 25 lifted off the pad. Everything functioned well, including the 33 engines of the booster until staging. More than 3.5 minutes into the flight, at an altitude of approximately 90 kilometers over the Gulf of Mexico, the second stage successfully separated itself from the first stage. The Super Heavy booster completed its flip maneuver and initiated the boost back burn, before exploding while the second stage continued flying until it reached an altitude of approximately 150 kilometers, 93 miles. It flew for over 8 minutes before engine cut off. Telemetry was lost on the second stage. According to SpaceX, the second stage was destroyed by a safe command. Normally after hot staging, the booster is supposed to proceed to effectuate its flip maneuver and initiates a boost back burn, and then returns to the launch site in a controlled descent to be caught by the tower's pair of mechanical arms. Meanwhile, the Starship spacecraft uses its 6 ignited engines to accelerate the orbital velocity where it may be refueled by one or more tanker variant Starships to increase the spacecraft's capacity. Starship will fire its engines to slow down in order to land on bodies without an atmosphere. Starship slows by entering the atmosphere through a heat shield when landing on bodies that have atmosphere, after which it would perform a belly flop maneuver by diving back through the atmosphere body at a 60-degree angle to the ground, using its 4 flaps at the front and aft sides of the spacecraft to control its fall. Following the inventions and failures to completion of the mission of the Starship, SpaceX always came out with improved Starships for further testing. Its determination proves that in its near future, the mission of achieving a workable and reusable Starship will be possible. Stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel as we keep you updated on SpaceX Starship and also on educational topics.